Is your sister in Illinois?
Well, she's filing tomorrow in Pennsylvania. Obviously, no.
From
England.
Jamaica, what were they flying to think? Philadelphia?
Well, my sister's still there.
No, I know that. Is that an easy?
Is it what?
What's the international airport?
Philadelphia. Philadelphia is the sixth largest city in the United States.
Oh, it's a big city.
No.
Yeah, Philadelphia.
We just got Philadelphia.
Yeah, probably is.
It is the worst. That's true.
Well, I tell you, you'll be an hour or 2 hours or more getting out of the, my boyfriend and I saw a Phillies game there last year. And the parking, well, it's like going to a Yankees game, a Mets game, actually. You know, you get a big parking lot out in the parking lot where you can't get out after the game. But anyway.
Except the Phillies make the playoffs.
Exactly.
Okay, 7 o'clock, so I'm going to call to order the November 14th meeting of the Woodstock Town Board. I want to make a quick note that next week I'll be reopening the public hearing on the zoning amendments, and we're going to plan to have the meeting over at the community center. So come one, come all.
Will that be on Zoom?
We're working on that. It may not be on the calendar, but we're working on getting it on a Zoom link. So
And will there
details to be followed.
more than 100 people can log on? Or no?
We don't know yet.
Okay,
And we'll have the big room, so.
okay.
People definitely ask for that, so.
But I'll just remind everybody that we're not going to be voting on it next week, so that there'll be at least. With that, I will reopen the hearing on Philip Colville. Laura, if you just want to give us a very quick update on the changes.
Changes that we talked about last.
Yes.
Well, the main changes we talked about last is that we had a belief, one of our members had a belief, that there were some areas under 1,200 feet that could be included in the scenic overlay, and believed it was on a map somewhere, but then others went, including Judy Kerman, who was a map expert, and there was no map anywhere that said scenic overlay would be anything under 1,200 feet. So we adjusted the verbiage to say 1,200 feet, period.
Okay.
So
the
elevation, so that was the main thing, is elevation is,
Okay. So the one thing that I whistled for was the $5,000 per day fine that the ZEO could enforce, and I question the legality of that.
and I think you said something, you might be talking to the lawyer about that?
So I don't believe that the building inspector can be enforcement and fining people.
Oh, okay. And I thought, and honestly, the $5,000 a day, well, a couple things I'll say about that. One is, if somebody has broken the law and they have done more clear cutting, more tree removal than they should have, then when the ZEO comes and says, hey, you need to give me a plan, they need to promptly give a plan. The plan has to have dates for remediation, and they have to file that remediation. If they promptly give a plan for remediation and they follow the plan for remediation, there would be no fine at all. The fine is if they drag their feet and if they don't follow the plan. But that being said, I believe, you know, I went with what the group said. I thought $5,000 a day was pretty hefty, but
I'm not, it's not so much the $5,000. My issue is, you know, the police officer can't go out and write you a ticket and levy a fine.
Yeah.
It's got to go,
It goes to the judge.
it's got to go to a judge.
Right, so I'm totally fine with there being some adjustment there.
Okay.
And then and it says up to $5,000 a day.
Again, I'm fine with the up to 5,000.
Okay.
Because people see it over there, if they're, you know, they've got the money. It's who levies that fine.
Yeah, okay.
I think it needs to go to the judge.
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
so if I'm fine with that adjustment.
Phil,
Okay,
and then we're saying that you're very fuzzy.
I'm always fuzzy.
You sound pretty, not as good as usual, more about Phil's fuzzy sounding.
Okay.
And Lou, is that any better?
Yeah, she just gave them that.
Okay.
Well, except that you're on that mic over there, so maybe talking to that mic is
Okay.
better.
How's that? Okay.
Good. So what you'll get with the lawyer and you'll let me know verbiage changes, because then I want to change the verbiage So that when I know the hope is to vote for this in December.
Mhm.
So you'll let me know what verbiage change, and I'll do another iteration of the
Okay.
document.
Is there anybody in the audience here who wants to speak to,
I'd like to say something, just.
say your name for the record?
Michael Beach, and, I'm just speaking as a citizen here, and I was my, chairman of the tree committee. I just wanted to point out, when you were mentioning the $5,000, my own personal experience with the town, bringing a case for code violations, that, totaled in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. The town, settled for basically pennies on the dollar. So I just wanted the town board to be aware that if a judge ultimately rules, there is still the opportunity for the town to come in and negotiate a settlement or a plea deal, which I've just witnessed in the last couple of months down here at the court, involving the CEO and hundreds of thousands of dollars in code violations that were settled for $6,000, which, by the way, just for the record, has still not been paid.
Thank you, Michael.
Person.
Anyone online who would like to address the scenic overlay amendments? Okay, with that, I will recess the public hearing to the call of the chair, and we'll plan to draft a resolution for December meeting, but I will work on that verbiage on who levies the fine.
Perfect, thank you.
With that, I'll move on to some resolutions. Be it resolved to accept the resignation of Lori Hamilton from dispatch effective October 1st, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And are we thanking her for her service?
We actually did, but I will thank her again, Lori.
Okay,
How many years, Jackie?
40.
40 years.
wow.
Just an outstanding employee, and we wish her luck.
Yep.
Where were they going? South Carolina?
South Carolina.
Okay. Be it resolved to accept the resignation of Christian J. Dalsgaard from dispatch effective November 20th, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
How many people do we have left in dispatch?
Well, they were both, Lori retired after 40 years, and she's been replaced. Christian's been a part-timer who hasn't worked much in the last 6 months.
So how many people do we
I
have
don't
left?
know, you'd have to
You don't know?
talk to, not at the top of my head, no. I believe there's 4 full-timers and an equal number of part-timers.
So there are 4 full-time dispatchers.
I believe, don't quote me on that. Be it resolved to accept the resignation of Michael McCowan from highway effective October 31st, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Whereas on October 1st, 2023, the Woodstock Town Board adopted the preliminary 2024 budget, and whereas providing for proper notice, scheduled public hearing for November 9th at 6 p.m. Town Halls, 76 Tinker Street. And whereas such public hearing was open to the time and place of proper notice, and whereas the comments and questions from the public were duly entertained. Felicia, did I duly entertain you?
First, and then it kind of just fizzled towards the end. Then it was a finale.
All right, well, we'll leave that as duly entertained. And whereas the proposed 2024 budget levies fall within the limits of the New York State tax cap law, and therefore do not require special legislation for the adoption, for its adoption. Therefore, be it resolved to close the public hearing. Be it further resolved to amend the 2024 general fund budget as follows. Increase line A01001-00000 by $18,900 to $4,791,807. Increase line A01120.00000 by $20,000 to $415,000. Increase line A01010.40000 by $8,000 to $30,000. Increase line A01220.10300 by $10,300 to $75,021. Increase line A0 1410.10300 by $10,300 to $73,021. Increase line A05010.10000 by $10,300 to $75,021. Decrease line A07310.10200 by $6,600 to $63,374. Increase line A07310.41018 by $6,600 to $10,100. And be it further resolved to enter into the minutes of this proceeding the cover sheet of the 2024 budget indicating the 2024 levies for the general highway, garden lighting, Woodstock lighting, sewer hamlet, on-site sewer and water funds, and be further resolved to adopt the 2024 budget.
Second.
All in favor?
Discussion.
What would you like to discuss?
I was wondering about the new lines that were added. I know we just received this. I'm coming here and haven't had time to discuss them. So I was wondering about the increase in line A010.40000 by $8,000. Could you give us a sense of what that is?
The $8,000 to the $30,000, that is for, if you recall, last year we put in the budget $8,000 for the volunteer boards, and I upped that to $16,000.
But how is that gonna be divided up? Like, what boards are getting what money, like what?
It's as they bring projects or requests to the town board, we approve or
Because
deny.
I thought you had said you were gonna let us know ahead of time, based on.
You know what, I was, but
today.
I spent so much time over the last couple of days responding to a frivolous lawsuit that I just got to this today.
A frivolous
What was
lawsuit.
the frivolous
What was
lawsuit
that?
that you responded to?
You understand it?
You call that a frivolous
I
lawsuit?
do. Any other questions?
Yeah, I was wondering about the increase in line A01220.103000 by $10,300.
So what I've done is increased the line for the supervisor, the town clerk, and the town highway superintendent by $10,000 each, and we had talked about bringing someone in to do a study to set those salaries, and that just puts money in there should they recommend an adjustment upwards.
So the $10,300 in the next line is for the town clerk's office an increase.
And then for the highway
And then
superintendent,
the line 05010
highway superintendent.
is for the highway superintendent. Could you give us some sense of when you plan to have that person look at the salaries?
Hopefully within the next 2 weeks.
And who you plan to have do that?
I have Michael Richardson, I've called him to, he's our personnel advisor.
And then finally, the decrease of $6,600, then the increase of $6,600.
That was a request by Patrick Acker over at the Youth Center, so that's budget neutral. What we did is took, he suggested taking $6,600 out of the part-time personnel line and putting it down to the .4 line, which would be for equipment or, pizza for the kids, or repairing or providing new equipment, new basketball hoops and whatnot.
So this was a request of
Patrick.
Patrick.
Yes, and you can move, once the budget is adopted, you can move from a .4 to a .1. You can't go from a .1 to a .4. So the money's the same. We can move it back to the .1 should he determine he needs that there for part-time. But we didn't use this much part-time last year, so we're comfortable.
So one last question, just curious, you chose to put in $8,000, but one of the requests was for $10,000 for the commode.
Well, they should read the CSAC should read the stewardship easement agreement, because part of their charter is to actually do fundraising to cover the maintenance of the Como. So, Reggie, do you have any questions? Laura,
I'm good.
Maria?
So when can we expect to see the breakdown for the committees? Like how,
There is no breakdown. It's a one lump sum, $16,000.
That worked very well this year.
so every committee that asked for money, we don't know which committees are getting what amount.
They just have to put in a request and the board will either agree to it or not agree to it as the year goes on.
But what happened this year is that with the $8,000 set of money, we knew that different committees were gonna need things, but in a lot of cases, the committees have to do homework before they can use the money. So they can be off doing the homework. If someone wants to put a brochure out, they need to do the homework to draft the brochure. And when they get further along, they can come to the town board and say, okay, now this is a real thing, we're really looking to use the money, and they can come. So we had very few people, the committees just didn't come, the money was there, but for whatever reason, they didn't come forward, and so we really doubled it. And the committees didn't ask for the 8,000 this year, and we've really doubled it for next year.
With that, I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
What's that, 5-0?
You know, no. You
No,
know, you-
okay.
I'm gonna vote.
So I
Okay.
had 3-2.
Can I ask the board, Reggie?
Aye.
Laura,
Aye.
Aye.
Bill, Bennett,
No,
Maria Elena,
No,
3-2.
Whereas the Woodstock Public School District is applying for a Hudson River
Public
Valley.
library district, I heard you say school.
Okay, Woodstock Public Library District is applying for a Woodstock, or a Hudson Valley Greenway for grants under the Hudson River Valley Greenway Planning Grant Program for a project entitled Woodstock Library's Local History and Archives Collection, to be located in the town of Woodstock. Now therefore be it resolved, the town of Woodstock Town Board does hereby approve and endorse the application for grant under the Hudson River Valley Greenway Planning Grants Program for project known as the Woodstock Library's Local History and Archives Collection, to be located within the community.
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye. With that, any public be heard? Michael?
I'd like to speak as chair of the tree committee. I just want to know for my own benefit or satisfaction here. What I heard tonight is that you want the committees to come to the town board to request money to do their work. Now, if I need to buy a bag of compost for a tree, you want me to come to the town board and request $5.97 for a bag of compost? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, and if I want to plant 20 trees, you want me to come to the town
Yes.
board and request?
Yes.
All right, so bag of compost, yes, trees, yes.
Yes.
And is that true of all the committees?
Yes.
So,
True of all the departments, Michael.
it's not the way it used to be, Bill. It used to be, there was money in the budget,
It absolutely.
the
is.
money could be spent, and the vouchers were submitted. Now, what you're saying is,
That's not. the
we
way it
have
was.
we have to ask permission to spend the money. You don't want to see a voucher.
Well, you'll
Right.
see the voucher.
The voucher will come in once the board.
Well, explain it to me, because what I heard was you want me to come and request
You should.
the money to
You should-
spend.
You should put a request in, and then once the request is granted, you go, you make the purchase.
So we have to ask to spend the money before we
Yes.
spend it. All right, that's all I wanted to know. Okay, thank you very much.
Felicia,
On that same question, so in other words, like, you're saying that before each committee or pat, or, you know, I don't know if it could be committee or the volunteer ones, they wouldn't have like earmarked a certain amount each year for a budget, and then if they went above that, have to ask for it.
no,
Or-
spending has always been approved by the town board. For the departments, for the volunteers never got
That's
that
the
much
vouchers
money.
each month.
But beyond the vouchers, before the money was spent, there's approvals. You know, if the planning board wants to go to talk to the attorney, or the zoning board wants to talk, or if the building inspector, they come and they ask first.
Right,
We want-
that's a big expenditure.
Yeah, we want an expenditure. We want to, can we
But
spend this money?
each committee can make a laundry list, like basically, we need like this, that, and the other things, supplies, and it
Yeah.
totals, and then you approve the total.
And you know, some of the supplies, for instance, paper, if somebody needs paper for printing, the town buys paper, the town clerk is buying the paper already, and it would just come out of the supply room. So,
Yeah, we would have people come in and want paper and, or want money for paper, money for print, for ink and stuff like that. Whatever project you have, bring it here. We have the equipment here. There's no reason for somebody to go to Staples to buy paper and ink when we have it here at a much less cost to the town.
Yeah, there can be more efficiencies. If they come to the town board, we can talk about efficiencies because we know what's going on across the town and there can be efficiencies.
nobody, I mean, I don't go out and spend money without getting approval. No, you know, we're safeguarding the public's money.
Who did you get approval for to spend money on lawyers for the frivolous lawsuit you mentioned?
Luckily, our insurance company is covering that, Bennett. Anybody else publicly heard? Michael, how are you?
Well, I'd like to express my gratitude for the town getting through a very difficult election season and see you all at the table here actually trying to do some work. That's good. That's always positive. I'd like to particularly thank you, Supervisor McKenna, for constantly, and Laura and Jackie, for constantly explaining to all of us how the town infrastructure, the various committees, funding, partnerships with insiders in the town infrastructure and outsiders, how all of this works to actually get something done. And while I appreciate questions are always good, because I learn every time someone asks a question, the idea that everything has to stop until everybody on the board understands it is a little bit of a drag. And what seems like obstruction, I think is unwelcome. So I want to just thank all of you that do what you do, you know, every day for the town, because it does get done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Melanie, is there anyone online that would like to speak? No? With that, I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, still on it.